We have here Mr. David Paterson. He is the former New York state governor and now recovering governor. So how long do you think will that take for you to recover?
I think a couple more years and I'll be fine.
You've spoken passionately about small businesses, and yet we hear not so much about small to medium scale enterprises. But according to the World Trade Organization, 95% of the world economy employs actually workers from the small businesses. Why do you think there's not much impact as if we hear from the mainstream media when it comes to what small to medium scale enterprises do?
Because the mainstream media covers the big events. They cover the world leaders, not the people who support them. They cover the big businesses, not the people who are actually employing everyone. And in that respect, that's why the traditional media is sometimes out of touch, because they don't really see things that are growing or happening right under their watch.
In 2008, when you were a governor of New York State, and you earned a lot of praises during the fiscal crisis, but you said during your speech earlier that you quite annoyed a lot of people as well during that time. But essentially, there's a lot of efforts that have been made from your office at that time. If you could look back, what are those moments or what are those policies that you have created that actually helped when it comes to addressing and managing the fiscal crisis?
We became the first administration in 20 years to increase the welfare allocation, which was woefully less than people who rely on it to live could actually afford. We increased the participation in government procurement from women and Asian and African American and Hispanic owned businesses from about 2% to about 29% just in 3 years. We also increased the participation of women and minorities in banking, insurance, and the sales of securities and bonds. At the same time, tried to give the charter schools, which were alternative education outlets, some resources that they hadn't really gotten from government before. And we increased the pay for domestic workers who were left out of the Fair Labor Standards Act in 1938. 75 years later, they now get the minimum wage just like anyone else in New York.
Amazing. Interesting. During that time, Bitcoin was invented as well. And Bitcoin, the reason why it's invented is because it is decentralized, trying to be away from what was currently happening at Wall Street at that time. What are your thoughts on Bitcoin?
Well, I don't know much about it. Being in the traditional investment banking community, we're restricted from any interaction, in that regard. I know that the Securities and Exchange Commission has attended a lot of the events to talk about this, so they are giving it a look to see if it can actually work. One of the difficult problems with any kind of new invention, it doesn't matter what it is that the regular suspects, the scam artists, come out and try to enlist people, and they are sometimes indistinguishable from perhaps people who have found a new technology that can really help the world or a new currency that can help the world. But right now, I really don't know enough about it to really comment, and I'm really restricted from any personal involvement in it. And I think that that's the best way until such time as there is some oversight.
The blockchain technology itself is being used in a lot of industries. How do you think, or what role do you think it will play in small businesses, not just in the United States, but actually in the world?
Cutting down, I would imagine, on the time to get things done, because the less time it takes, that's what made technology stand out. The less time it takes to do something, the better the results and the more clients you can adjust with. But I don't even really know enough about how it works to know. And this is why we'll probably wait for some oversight or heads up.
Because a lot of people don't know much about this new technology. Do you think it's about time for education system to actually incorporate this in order to, educate a lot of people, the students, the younger ones, with the emerging technologies that we have, not just blockchain, maybe artificial intelligence and the rest?
Well, certainly with artificial intelligence, which is already established, this is not to impugn the reputations of people working very hard to get something done, but they kind of have to understand that one of the reasons the SEC was founded is because of the wild activity that went on that caused the Great Depression in 1929, and the government was behind it. So if the government is in front of it now and, making all of us kind of hold our fire until they take a look at it, it would probably be well worth the time than to have a situation that occurred in 1929 where people lost so much money they committed suicide.
All right. Thank you so much, David.
You're more than welcome.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you.